So I've gone into depth about Creed, about Thrill of the Fight, about Dragon Fist, and beyond. There's not a lot out there in the way of fighting simulators and games, but along comes an absolutely batshit crazy Street Fighter meets Thrill of the Fight experience with player versus player from Australia. And it really, really works. No, I'm not saying this game is perfect, far from it, but what I am saying is this is a game that's a lot of fun. It doesn't take itself too serious, and in my experience, which is quite a lot, with tracking heart rate data through virtual reality exercise, this is the highest I've ever gotten my heart rate through a virtual reality game. No joke. Allow me to introduce you and be your guide through Virtual Fighting Championship. Let's go. Now, as you know, I don't simp for any one particular game. Whenever I do a review video, I give you the good, I give you the bad, and I give you the ugly. And I'll be honest, there's a lot of ugly in this game, but in my opinion, the good outweighs the bad, and the ugly, especially since it's made by a small development team and isn't even in the Quest 2 official store yet. This is a game you can find on the App Lab and SideQuest, and I'll drop a link in the description below so you can even download it. By now you should be wondering, what the hell even is VFC? Well, it's like playing a real-life arcade fighter with your friend, and you can punch each other in the nuts. If you're looking for a game to test your boxing technique, to see how technical of a fighter you are and put your boxing skills against someone else, this isn't the game for you. But if you're looking for a fun, combat-based player versus player experience where different characters have different abilities and it's more of like a tactical battle while also punching each other in the nuts, this is definitely the game for you. But let's start out with the good and why I really like this game. The main focus of this is player versus player, and the community, it's really good. Now there's gonna be a few shit talkers in the Discord, but obviously it's a fighting game and you're gonna find that no matter where you go. The Discord, it's basically a place you go to find someone to fight because the game isn't really popular enough to just jump on a server and get matched, at least in my experience. Oh, but the stories in the Discord get a little weird, and allow me to bless you with a dramatic reading of one of my favorite VFC Discord stories from a member bragging about the fights he's had in real life.
4 fights ago, I fought my best friend's oldest brother because he was trying to fight my kid's uncle the first time he met him, for no reason, in my house. He caught me with a cheap flick jab in the midst of me talking, split the inside my bottom lip. I turned to the dude who now thanks me for not ending his life, laughed, and turned back to Sean with a whole-ass roundhouse to his ribs. MFer backed up, switched stance, started flicking out jabs. It was like pitter-patter, pillow fists. I already knew the cheap shot I ate at the beginning was his signature punch. I watched him fight half my life. So once I knew that, I was just joyous. I walked him down, ate the little flicks because he was throwing the same pattern, so I let him think he would continue to. Then I slipped under one, and Booyakasha, overhand to his left eye, also much taller guy, starts hugging me immediately. I tried wrapping one leg and tripping for a takedown to no prevail. He starts throwing little pitter-patter hammer fist down at me. I start laughing like, WTF do you think you're doing, Sean? And he said, and I'll never forget this, I'm beating your ass. And I started hysterically laughing, pulled his knee to my chest and ran him to my fence. Started scooping him off the fence, and he's like, Jay, let's stop. Let's just stop. Mind you, my wolf shepherd mix at the time was trying to fuck us both up. She'd never experienced that energy and was probably scared.
But this had to be Florida. There's no way this was anywhere but Florida, right? Okay, so enough about that. So when you open the game, it's going to be kind of a jumbled mess, as are most SideQuest and App Lab games. I don't fault them for this because it's something of a growing process that I notice a lot of developers go through to pare down the information that's out there. Few games get this right. This one, not so much. You're going to see a solo player mode and a PvP mode. And I'm gonna show you some of the solo player mode, but I want you to know that the game is mainly focused on player versus player, and the solo mode is just kind of there for you to practice and f*** around with. Nobody should be judging this game by the solo mode. So when you do go into solo mode, you're gonna see a lot of different training tools as well. A career mode, you can kind of test out the different fighters. This is good because every fighter kind of has their own unique abilities. Some fighters regenerate health quicker, other fighters can punch right through your guard. This guy can poison you when they punch you, so it's really a tactical battle of choosing fighters to put against other fighters. I haven't found any one fighter to be more OP than another, and it all seems very balanced. It's a matter of how you use it. Oh, by the way, if you're enjoying this video or any part of this video, wait, don't skip ahead. If you're enjoying this video or any part of this video, please don't forget to hit the like button. It helps me get seen by more eyeballs, and honestly, it's free. Doesn't cost a penny. It's the best way you can help me or any other content creator on YouTube. I humbly bow in thanks for your gracious thumbing of my video. Now, each fighter has a set of base techniques. You have your punches, your dashes, and your blocks. And that's about it. You can't really shoot fireballs or do anything like that, but you just have a little bit of power or imbalance. I can't stress this enough. Knowing what each fighter does is important. I chose Poison right out of the gate here because he kind of looked the coolest and I didn't know much about the other characters. Now, I was lucky enough to jump on the Discord and find someone who was a seasoned fighter who took part in the tournaments and has been playing the game for quite a while. He showed me the ropes and kind of walked me through the different techniques in a very comfortable and relaxed environment. And I can't thank him enough. It was really cool. Thank you, Sully. It was badass. So he showed me what everyone does and how the game works, and it was much better than any of the tutorials I actually played on the game. I recommend it if you have any interest in playing this game. Jump on the Discord and ask if anyone can walk you through it live, because that's the best way I've seen so far, and there's a lot of people who are willing to do it, including the developer himself. Once I got the swing of things, get it? The swing of... Sorry. It was time to rumble, and all I could really do was put my boxing techniques into this game and see how I did. I didn't fare too bad because it was a close match, and with my guide Sully, he did the best he could to beat me to a pulp, which is very expected. The crazy thing about it is when I looked at my heart rate afterwards, holy motherfucking cocksucking motherfucker! My heart rate was over 100%, and I've never ever had a game do that in VR before, ever. I can rarely do that while running uphill on a treadmill or rowing as hard as I can. That's insane, and I feel like there's a few different factors that contribute to this. One of the factors being that it's player versus player, and while there's nothing on the line, there's definitely still something on the line. My pride, my ego, my inherent chauvinistic male-dominated trauma perpetuated by toxic masculinity and patriarchal norms, etc. And the fact that you just lose track of what you're doing. It's the same reason some fighters gas out at the end of a round, because they go for a flurry on their opponents and leave nothing left in the tank. This is incredibly hard to do against a computer opponent because any AI-generated opponent is never going to do this. They're never going to have pride or ego. It's going to force them to try and kill you in the last 10 seconds. But someone else, in real life, will. I think player versus player style is the thing that people who don't like Creed really need in their life, because it doesn't have a cooldown like Creed does. There's no mini games, and there's nothing like that, but it's still more detailed and a little more complicated than Thrill of the Fight. You can dash away from your opponents. You can use that as a dodge method. It's not just box, 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 which is sadly what Thrill of the Fight can be sometimes. Fucking cry about it, fanboys. Now let's look at some of the ugliness and some of the stuff I would change if I was the developer, and see just where this game falls a little bit short. Now, one of the things that I see here is that there's so much shit on the screen. You have so many different health bars and special effects and backgrounds, and sometimes you're in the thick of the fight and it really gets to be a mess. And add that with some of the ping issues you might be having with player versus player, with people from further distances, like when I fought Nacy. Yes, I fought Nacy. Yes, that Nacy. And just look at the screen. You have some sort of health meter. You have a card telling you what kind of punch you just threw. You have your opponent's health, You have electricity from your opponent. You have crazy flying cars in the background, as well as the foreground is very detailed, as well as it's just a hot fucking mess. And it's just as confusing as it looks when you're actually fighting. I really feel like the developers should just take the advice of less is more and try to tone down some of the wackiness in the game. But there still needs to be an editing process, and there needs to be a user interface first mentality as opposed to let's just see how much shit we can put on the screen. I wish we could cram more of this info onto a smaller HUD where I can kind of just see everything at once. This is definitely something that should be fixed right out of the gate. It's distracting to look at, and it adds to the mess that's already mucking up the screen. And speaking of fitness, the calorie counter here is very, very generous. You cannot trust it. Track your own calories if you're curious. It burns a ton without the need of over-exaggeration. I don't know where these numbers came from. Lastly, something about the hands doesn't feel right. I can't exactly explain why, but when you play it, it's just like your hands feel like they're a bit longer than they should be. I don't know the reason for this, and I'm still kind of struggling to figure out why that is. But the thing about it is I think that the hands are actually in the right spot. It's just that every other game has made the adjustment for the hands, and literally they don't feel right when I look down, and I just feel a little bit too long, and I don't understand why my brain isn't interpreting it the way it's supposed to. They might be right on the money, but every other game has already established a base for this of what is correct looking, and you can see I'm struggling to tell you exactly why it feels weird. It just doesn't feel right. I really like the idea of having characters with special abilities, and I wish there was some sort of finishing move ability. I mean, if we're going straight Street Fighter wackiness, then we should definitely lean into it, but I believe there should be a way to turn off all the powers and special abilities and have it just be straight up PvP, mano-y-mano, you versus me, no electricity, no poison, no health regeneration, none of that bullshit. Here's where things get a little sad to say out loud. I do believe this game is doomed to be an App Lab game forever, and I don't think you'll ever see this on par with Creed or Thrill of the Fight, due to the fact that it's too wacky. I think if and when Thrill of the Fight releases a PvP mode, this one is doomed. I really hope I'm wrong in this situation, and I hope that they're able to secure the funding and the talent and whatever it is they need to make this game super polished, because right now it's lacking a lot of polish. It has the framework and it has a lot of the bigger, harder parts done. It just needs someone with an editorial eye to come through and say, take that one out and leave that in, and to get it to where it needs to be. I really want to be wrong here, and I really want this game to be the next big fighting game on the Quest. So what you can do to help these developers is go out and buy the game and give them the feedback they're looking for. Let's grow this user base to where it's hard to get online to get a match because there's just too many people playing it. My name is Ari with FitPro VR, and don't forget to get your workout in today.